And then, as well as that, there are those whose life work is to watch out for these scam merchants on our behalf. We've heard from David Ellerington first, but another such person who looks out for us is Mary Harper, who's a community engagement officer with the Northumbria Police, and Steve went out this week to talk to her.
I'm sitting in the police station just below where we broadcast, actually. We broadcast in the upstairs of Westgate College, and downstairs is the police station. And with me is Mary Harper, who is a community police officer. Is that correct? Does that mean that you are attached to a particular community in Newcastle, or just overall?
Yes, Steve. Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me on. Yes, I work for the community engagement team, so we cover Central and Gateshead.
Right. Good. And as you know, as we've told you already, our theme for this afternoon is scams, and Mary has come in to help us to talk about, in particular, perhaps those people who knock on your door. What about them then, Mary?
Yes, I mean, this is a really, really prudent topic to cover, actually, Steve. It's a really good opportunity to speak to people. These offences go on all the time, every day. Hundreds of people fall victim to doorstep scammers and also telephone scammers. And it's important to get the message out there to the public that it's really important for it to be reported. If you report to the police, it could be the missing piece of a jigsaw. We need to be able to put together a series of offences in order to bring offenders to the court to prosecute. People are often reluctant to report because they feel ashamed. They feel there's a stigma about the fact that they've fallen foul to these offenders. But fraudsters are exceptionally skilled, and they can sound and appear plausible. And quite often, people in the elderly community don't want to question authority. They don't want to question somebody who comes to the door. But at the end of the day, if people are coming to your domain, your sanctuary, whether it's to your front door or over the phone, it must be challenged.
And how do you challenge it? Can I just say what I do?
Absolutely.
I just say I never accept anything at the front door. Goodbye.
Yes.
That's it. And I shut the door.
And
is that the way to do it?
Yes, absolutely. That is absolutely the way forward. If you need something, you know where to go and get it. If you need to buy something or to do something to do with your bank account, everybody knows how to do that. To go to a local branch or to ring up the bank's number. If somebody comes to your front door, I would always recommend you turn them away. It doesn't matter who they are, and a reputable business or organisation is not going to be offended by an elderly person saying they don't feel comfortable speaking out their front door. A deterrent to even avoid being in that position would be to get some sort of signage as a deterrent, just saying no cold callers. My mum has one, and she doesn't get hassle. She makes that clear from the outset that she will not accept people at the door, and it's just about basic safeguarding.
The sort of people I've had are people who say, I was just walking along and I noticed that your roof needs attention.
Yes, a classic one.
Can I just get up there and fix a few tiles for you?
Yes, always say no. These people are opportunists. They're looking for vulnerability. They're looking to target people because of that. If they've told you that something needs to be done to your roof, speak to a family friend, speak to a member of your family or a member of the community, a neighbour, get details of a reputable builder and ask someone to come and give you a quote, free of charge. Check whether what they're saying is genuine, and I would never ever recommend commissioning somebody at your front door to work on or in your property.
And last week somebody came to the front door and said, I've come to read your meter. So what I did was I said, could I please see your identification?
Absolutely.
And around his neck he had his identification. On it was his photograph, the name of the company he was representing, and so I let him in. Is that right?
No, absolutely not. If somebody has a lanyard with some sort of logo and photo, that could be made extremely easily. I would not allow that person into my home. You can set up passwords with with your utility company, have a password which they know and you know. Make them get the password. Make sure they know your password, and then you'll know they're reputable. If in doubt, shut them out. Shut the door, lock the door, ring up the water board, ring up the electricity company, find out if that person's kosher, reputable, as they seem, and then invite them in.
And how do you get this password?
You just speak to your utility company. Absolutely, I would highly recommend everybody does that. Write down on a bit of paper all of the people who you deal with who could come to your home, phone them up, set a password.
Good, right. Thank you. We've come now to the point in our little chat where I ask you what piece of music you'd like us to play for you, and tell us why you've chosen it.
Right, well, I've picked Eva Cassidy, People Get Ready. I'm hoping you'll have it because it's a beautiful tune, and I think it just has a really nice message that everybody is in it together. Jump on board, let's make the world a better place.
Thank you. And we're talking about scams. Now, we've dealt with people who come to the front door, but of course there are other people who invade your home through the telephone, for example.
Absolutely.
What should people do about that?
Yes, very difficult to manage with the phone. Primarily, I would recommend they contacted their telephone provider and asked for any withheld numbers to be blocked. That's what I would recommend in the first instance. I'd really like to take this opportunity.
Sorry, could I interrupt you there? But,
yes.
But some of my friends withhold their numbers, so they'd be caught in the same net.
Yes, unfortunately, there's nothing that can be done about that. I do believe that if you want somebody's number to be, if you wanted to call somebody from your number and it was withheld, you can dial 141 in front of the number you're dialing, and it'll alert the person who's receiving the call to your phone number. But that is the only way, really, to keep these people out. I wanted to highlight a series of offences that many people have fallen victim to of late, which have been where rogue people impersonating HMRC officers.
In my case, it's BT.
Right. Yes.
Every day I'm getting somebody who says, I'm from BT. I say, no, you're not, and put the phone down.
Yes, well, that's the right thing to do, absolutely. The series that we had were people calling to say they were from HMRC and that people owed debt to HMRC. And the reports we initially had were of very distraught people going into superstores and buying iTunes vouchers and Amazon vouchers in order to pay this debt off. And the MO of the offence was essentially...
MO being...
the modus operandi. And
the way that they do
yes,
it.
and that was a way that we were able to we could use the MO as a way of putting together a series of offences. Basically, HMRC were calling people up saying they owed debt and they needed to pay the debt through iTunes vouchers or Amazon vouchers, and that somebody would come to the door within the hour to pick up the vouchers to settle the debt. And unfortunately, so many people fell foul of this fraud because it was so plausible and the people making the phone call sounded so convincing.
The Inland Revenue would accept vouchers. I mean, you say plausible, I'm sorry, but it seems to me to be totally and utterly implausible.
Yes, but unfortunately, people do fall foul of this, and it's no reflection on the victim. The victim is doing, acting well-intentioned, paying debt that they're being told they owe. But our advice is no reputable organisation would ever ask for unconventional methods of payment. You would never, ever pay through this method of payment. So if you are contacted by the HMRC, please do not hand over any money, any vouchers, and alert the police to it immediately.
By ringing what? 999?
Ring 999. If somebody's threatening to come to your door, you can ring 999. If not, you can dial 101 and we can take a report over the phone, or an officer can attend. But it's really important that these offences are reported so that we can take a strategic response and monitor this offence. And actually this turned out to be not just contained within the North East, within the Northumbria force, it was actually a national issue. So it meant we could partner up with neighbouring forces and national forces and address it holistically as a whole and take these offenders to court.
Right. So we've talked about the offences, we've talked about offenders and what to do if somebody does seem to be implausible, to use the word we've used already. What about afterwards? Who cares for the victims afterwards?
Absolutely, and that's such a good point, because the detrimental effect falling foul to these offenders on the victim is really profound. Victims can become distraught, isolated, ashamed, and then it affects their trust. People they should trust, like the police, like the bank, they can lose their confidence socially, and it can impact on family, friends. Their whole lifestyle can change. From being a victim of this type of offence is exceptionally serious, and the police take it very, very seriously.
Is there a support network or anything like that people can join?
Yes, absolutely. If somebody falls foul to this type of offending, we have a really good strategic way of supporting that victim. We can do referrals to victims first, we can offer counselling, there's also age concern. There's huge awareness around this type of offending and the impact it has on the victim.
So what number should they ring, or is there no need to ring a number because they're already in contact with the police?
The police will be able to do a referral.
Right. Good, okay. Right, thank you very much indeed. That's been very informative. I've been talking with Mary Harper from the community police.
Good thought there. So thank you to Steve and thank you to Mary.
Yes, we're the community engagement team.
Community engagement team. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.